Hi there. Let's talk about what happens when two or more waves traveling in a medium meet at a point, which we refer to as interference. When a wave travels through a medium, it can continue moving throughout the medium, or it can be totally or partially reflected back in the medium. For instance, if you go water diving in a river and you dive into the middle of this river, you will create a wave that will continue to travel through the river, never returning or being reflected. Such a wave that keeps traveling or spreading out from the point it is created in the medium is called a progressive or traveling wave. As you can see, this wave is most likely not to be reflected. But what if we have a wave that is reflected? For instance, if you tie a rope at one end to the tree and swing it at another end, what you will see is a wave traveling from the point you swung it to the tree. But as soon as it reaches the tree, it will be reflected back to your hand. Assuming you're able to keep swinging your hand and creating more waves, then what you will see is a series of waves traveling to the tree and a series of reflected waves traveling back from the tree. Note that the waves you create are incident to the tree, and we shall call them incident waves, and also call the waves that are reflected waves. Such waves that are reflected back into the medium they were generated from are called standing or stationary waves. These reflected waves can be in two forms. The first case can be that the top of the reflected wave, which is called the crest, rises and falls at the same time as the crest of the incident wave. Since the reflected wave is a reflection of the incident wave, then both waves will have similar amplitude and will travel at a similar speed. Remember that amplitude is the vertical displacement of the wave. When two waves are rising and falling at the same time, then they must be traveling with the same frequency, and we say they are in phase. But what if the incident wave and the reflected wave travel in such a way that as the incident wave is at its highest point, that is the crest, the reflected wave is at its lowest point, that is the trough? This implies that they are out of phase. This is because both waves rise and fall at different times. As you can see, when the incident wave is rising, the reflected wave is falling. And when the reflected wave is rising, the incident wave is falling. If you observe these two illustrations for stationary waves in phase and out of phase, you'll see that there are two sets of points. The first are points where the waves meet and it looks like there is no displacement or amplitude. It seems there is no wave at these points. These points are called the nodes. On the other hand, there are points where the waves produce a larger displacement. These points are called the antinodes. Remember to check out our lesson on the superposition of waves for more on what happens when two or more waves traveling in the same medium meet at a point. See you there.